What is up, Colorado? Welcome back to another episode of Nuggets and Brews. Today, I'm going to try and make two quick segments. One is just to first segment. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Jazz game and how kind of how it went. Kind of felt like a little bit like a regular season game of a back-to-back. I'll get into that, and then I'm going to preview the Nuggets are visiting the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's going to be a pretty cool game. So let's get to it. My name is Misa. Welcome back to another episode of Nuggets and Brews, where we talk Denver Nuggets and we get to sip on local Colorado craft beer. I went to the game on, I think it was Monday night. I went to the game. Yeah, Monday night. Yesterday. Jesus Christ. I'm already losing track of time. But yeah, the Nuggets were coming into the game on a back-to-back, and they were at Oklahoma City the night before. They had to fly back into Denver, and for whatever reason, even the crowd had like that back-to-back feel to it, because it wasn't like game one where it was just like ridiculous amount of energy. Still pretty good crowd, still sold out crowd for the most part, but it just didn't have that great feel that you always have, like where everyone's really into it. But aside from that, the Nuggets did get a win. I think it was a score of 110 to 102, and the Jazz kind of came into play pretty hard. However, the Nuggets were just too good. They're too damn good because they were playing. I want to say they were playing like 85% like effort, and the Jazz they looked like they really were going for it, and they were really gunning for the win, because they ended up cutting it to 6 points with like around 3 or 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and it got just a little antsy there towards the end, but it just didn't matter. The Nuggets are just too good. It got to the point where they're like, okay, let's settle down, let's run some good offense, and Jazz cut it to like 6 or 4 or something like that. They got it pretty relatively close, and then the Nuggets were like, all right, let's take it serious. Let's close this team out. And all of a sudden, the Nuggets are back up 10 with 40 seconds to go. And it just, at that point, it was just like a free throw game. And, Jamal closes it out with a couple of free throws. And it was just like one of those regular season games where you knew the Nuggets were going to close it out. It's just a matter of when. But listen, I mean, the Nuggets, they're becoming that. Expect this Nuggets team to just continue to adjust on the fly, and they've learned from their championship pedigree, and they bring it every time they need it. They bring it out every time they need it, and they go to that Jokic two-man game, or simply they just play like solid defense and just get out in transition and get some easy buckets that way. But overall, Just overall, the bench did outscore, the Nuggets bench did outscore the Jazz bench. I think it was like 28 to 18 points, which is pretty good. If you really think about it, that's already like 4 straight games where the bench actually looked pretty good. They look solid. They've been playing solid defense against the Jazz, even though they scored 28 points. It didn't seem like they were getting a whole lot of buckets, like a really frequent pace. But they still scored enough points to offset the Jazz's bench, was just exactly what you need, exactly what you want from your bench. And they played hard. There was a couple stints where the bench just wasn't scoring. They weren't really. They were getting good looks. They were getting open shots from 3-point line, but they just weren't scoring. But man, the defensive effort was there all night. Great stuff from the starters, though. I mean, Nikola Jokic with another triple double, just like it's just like an average night for Nikola Jokic at this point. Yeah, just a triple double, no big deal. Nothing to see here. Just Nikola doing Nikola things. But Jamal Murray, another great night from him. He was a little. I mean, he had 3 turnovers, but for whatever reason, I felt like his play was slightly sloppy, in the sense that he had some weird passes. But again, it is another game of. It was a game of a back-to-back, and you can kind of tell like the team hit a wall at some point, but it wasn't enough of a wall for the Jazz to kind of like turn the tables on them. Just didn't happen. It didn't really matter. But no, Jamal, even though with those 3 turnovers, had 14 assists, 18 points. I don't even know where those 14 assists came from, because it was just so smooth. It was so quick. It was just, they just came like at the most opportune time, when the Nuggets really needed it, and Jamal just found those players that they were open. He had found the open man, and he had some ridiculously threaded needle passes that were pretty impressive. But Michael Porter didn't really play the fourth quarter all that much. I think his ankle might still be bothering him, but rest him up. Christian Braun played for the rest of the fourth quarter, and he stepped in pretty well. He had a couple big buckets, big three. It's just anyone who's going, it's just like the next man up with this team. It's always the next man up, and they just fill the role and just Nuggets just keep coming at you. It doesn't matter who's down, who's playing bad. It's like if one player's not having a good time, if one player's not playing relatively well, Christian Braun, Peyton Watson, Reggie Jackson also playing pretty good. Aaron Gordon getting some, chipping in 21 points, 7 rebounds. It's just like this. The Nuggets just keep coming at you, and the Jazz just didn't have an answer all night. Once Nuggets got a lead, forget about it. There was no way the Jazz was going to come back from 10 down, 14 down. They don't have the talent to match up against the Nuggets. And even when they caught the Nuggets on a night where they were a little tired, didn't matter, because you know what? Nikola Jokic is going to dish out a bunch of assists. He's going to get a bunch of rebounds on you, and he's going to score over 25 on you. So no chance for the Jazz. And it was just one of those games where it didn't really matter who was out there. The Nuggets were going to win regardless. There was never a doubt, even when the Jazz kind of got it close. The crowd was like, okay, well let's cheer you guys on, and the crowd got relatively pretty loud at some point. But other than that, there wasn't really like a nervous energy to the game where we were like, oh boy, the Nuggets gonna blow this. Nah. The Nuggets aren't gonna blow a lead, or especially at home. Like, no, that's not gonna happen. They're too skilled. They're too veteran-esque. That they're not gonna falter. They're not gonna just let one loose. This is the championship Nuggets. This is what you're gonna come to expect. This is what is gonna be expected from here on out. And the Nuggets are gonna show this every night from here on out. Even whether they're tired, whether they're on a back-to-back, it doesn't matter. The Nuggets have it down, and they have their pedigree. They have their flow of the offense of how they want to attack you. Bring it on, NBA. Bring it on. Anyways, that's kind of it for segment 1. I mean, it was a regular season game. Even though it's like the second home game, it is totally different energy and totally different vibe from the season opener. Obviously, season opener was magical in its own sense. But, this was a Monday night game, and it was just kind of like a regular season game. So it was still fun. Great win overall. And the bench is... If the bench keeps playing the way that they're playing, the Nuggets every game, they just keep putting the NBA on notice. It doesn't matter if the Clippers got James Harden. It doesn't matter if Chris Paul went to the Golden State Warriors. It just doesn't matter what team got what. It doesn't matter that Bradley Beal's now a Suns. Again, nobody got any player. Nobody acquired anybody to offset the chemistry, the continuity, and the dominance of Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, and the Nuggets starting 5. And now that you've added the consistency on the bench with young players, young talented players that are hungry and are willing to play the right way, I'm sorry, NBA. I'm sorry. Actually, no, we're not sorry. We Nuggets fans are not sorry. We've been waiting for this. We got our championship, and you know what? We're going to keep coming, and the Nuggets are going to keep scoring on y'all. We're going to keep winning games. Yeah. Good luck, NBA. Good luck. Anyways, I'm going to take a quick break. Segment 2, we're going to preview the Denver Nuggets at the Minnesota Timberwolves. That should be a special one. My name is Misa, and you're watching Nuggets and Brews. I should have started segment 1 by introducing myself as Charmander, because it is Halloween night. I am filming this on Halloween. And as you can tell, I am a Charmander. I love Pokemon. I grew up with Pokemon, so Pokemon's my go-to. I love playing the games. It's super fun, so that's what I am tonight. And I'm proud of it. I actually wore this exact same costume to the game on versus the Jazz, and I was disappointed that a lot of people didn't dress up. So this, as a matter of fact, this thing is like a big onesie, so I'm actually pretty hot. So I'm gonna take off my little hat here, just to kind of fresh myself up a little bit. It's a little hot. Anyways, let's preview the Nuggets that are visiting the Minnesota Timberwolves. When I think when I post this, and probably when you're watching this, it should be Wednesday, which is the day that they're going to be visiting the Timberwolves. And it's going to be a bit of a rematch from last playoff matchup, round 1, where the Nuggets just absolutely they did dominate Minnesota. They really did. They won the series 4-1, but it was some of the games were actually kind of close there towards the end, and they were pretty exciting games. Given the fact that Minnesota does have Karl-Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. Who else do they have? And Rudy Gobert. Yes. Oh my God, how can I forget about him? So Minnesota does have two big bodies to kind of go up against Jokic and kind of be able to, have that extra big defender to rotate over, on that help side whenever Jokic is driving. But you know what? Jokic showed in that series that he's just going to adjust. He's just going to come out to the perimeter, or he's just going to take his shots there in that mid range. But also, you know what? Jokic is not afraid to drive to the bucket, get some old school post up. He's not afraid of that. He's not afraid of Karl-Anthony Towns or Rudy Gobert. He owns both of them. I mean, he's got a lot of children at this point. Nikola Jokic is the father of a lot of kids. He probably owes a lot of money in child support at this point, because he's the daddy of the Lakers. He's now the daddy of Rudy Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns. One of the things that I'm kind of pretty much looking forward to is the Anthony Edwards matchup versus Jamal Murray, as far as like scoring, because these two, man, they went at it the last playoff series. They were absolutely just going back and forth, dude. Ant, that kid's gonna be special, and he's gonna be really good as his career progresses. That dude's gonna be really, really good. His jumper is still developing, and he can already hit big threes. But the fact that he can drive relatively quickly, he's got great handles. He can easily drive to the bucket on that first dribble step, and he just takes off relatively quickly, and he's strong too. But again, he's basically that primary scorer on Minnesota. So because Karl-Anthony Towns, he's as talented as he is, and he's gonna get his and stuff like that. But I almost feel like Karl-Anthony Towns has to work so much just to get his points, because he plays this weird floppy style of just, he kind of throws himself everywhere, and he's so awkward out there. So it's kind of this weird dynamic where he's kind of taking the ball away from Anthony Edwards. if I was Minnesota, I would just concentrate on developing a two-man game between Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert, who's a great screen and roll guy. He does great pick and rolls. He's a fantastic screen setter. I would develop that offense around both of them because, and then I would just have, Karl Anthony Towns just not on the side or playing second fiddle or anything like that, but because he loves to play on that 3-point line, why not put him out there a little bit more? Because it's clear that he doesn't like to play on the inside. It's clear that he doesn't his post game isn't as refined as Nikola Jokic's or other centers around the league or other power forwards, because obviously he plays the power forward, so he doesn't have that developed inside game. Great outside shooter, which is wild to think about when given how tall he is. So I don't know, man. The Nuggets might end up starting 5-0, but also this might come as a loss just because of this not playing tournament, in-season tournament that's coming up. I almost kind of want them to lose. I know that sounds really weird, but if the Nuggets are kind of wanting to win this tournament that's coming up, why not? But you know what? No. What am I saying? That's crazy talk. No, let's win them all. Let's win tomorrow, and you know what? Let's sweep that weird end season tournament that the NBA is starting this year. Why not? I'm talking nonsense. I think it's the beer talking. I barely started drinking my good old craft beer, and I'm already talking nonsense. No. Let's win tomorrow. I'm sure we can win it tomorrow. The Nuggets finally had a day of rest. It's not like Minnesota's crazy far or anything like that. And for the most part, the Nuggets have kind of solved the Minnesota Timberwolves, given that they are bringing back the same team. I don't know. I just, at this point, any team that that's obviously not, like an offensive juggernaut like the Suns. Honestly, the Suns, I think it's the only team that I want to say the Nuggets fear, but can definitely give the Nuggets trouble as far as like being able to defend it, because they have so much offensive talent and they could just go off, and you saw that last year in that playoff series. But I also feel like Minnesota is the only other team that can match up with the Nuggets defensively. So it's almost kind of like a 1-for-1. You have plenty of defenders to defend Jamal Murray. You have obviously two defenders for Nikola Jokic, but again, it didn't matter last year that they had that extra body, because Nikola Jokic is so smart, and he knew when to dish it out. He knew when to post up. He knew when to take a three. He knew he knew how to play off the ball. You saw that a lot last year, where Nikola Jokic was like, you know what? If they're going to be denying me the ball, if they're going to be denying me those driving lanes, I'm just going to start dishing it. I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start getting my team involved. Minnesota is just, as much talent as they have to develop, and good thing they're bringing back the same team again. That way they can actually, develop that, continue developing that chemistry, because they are a good squad. They have a pretty solid squad. They have a pretty solid bench. But we'll see if their continuity can translate into matching up with the Nuggets, who are riding high on their confidence level. They're riding high on being able to play with each other, for each other, and just that championship pedigree that obviously the Timberwolves do not have, and probably won't have, given how stacked the Western Conference is. But it's going to be a fun one. I think the game is at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, so if you're gonna watch it, it should be a fun game. It really should be, and I'm really looking forward to this one. It's gonna be a bit of a rematch. So let's get another Nuggets win. Let's 5-0. I mean, I should probably look at the schedule. I mean, you have Minnesota coming up. I mean, so obviously Minnesota, and then Dallas, who I don't think Dallas is all that great, to be honest, because my goodness, like I think it's just like Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. So yeah, you got Minnesota, the Mavericks, you got the Bulls, Pelicans, and then the Warriors. I mean, the Nuggets can easily start 8-0 up until you have to play the Warriors, who is actually a really small team at this point. So yeah, but we'll get to the Warriors when we get to the Warriors. Let's worry about Minnesota, and let's continue showing the NBA who's the number one team right now, because as much as everyone wants to immediately crown all these other teams, everybody else is still forgetting about the Nuggets. They're starting to forget that we're the champs, and they're folks are easily setting aside the fact that the Nuggets are just playing their minds out right now in an effortless way. They really are, in an effortless way. They're just they're just playing basketball, which is like a crazy thing to say. They're just playing like beautiful basketball, agenda-free basketball, ego-less basketball, where it's not about me. It's about the team, and everyone understands their role. Everyone understands the goal, and the Nuggets are every Nugget. I'm gonna take a page out of DNVR Sports, the DNVR DNBA Nuggets podcast. Every Nugget is good, and it's absolutely true. Every Nugget is just they're well developed. They're well rounded. They're super skilled, and from Nikola Jokic all the way down to freaking Zeke Naji, that whole bench unit. They're just playing so well. Good luck stopping the Nuggets, man. The Minnesota might get a win tomorrow, but it might be one of those like squeak bys where Anthony Edwards has to get a last second shot, and he would probably have to play his mind out. Have to score 50 points to really offset the scoring prowess of the Nuggets as a whole. All right, well, thanks for listening to my ramblings. My name is Misa. You watched another rambling episode of Nuggets and Brews.